solve the problems of the universe in about 10 minutes.
100%.
Um, am I the bad father because I let my kids watch rated R movies and horror films and stuff, violent movies, those kind of things, and I don't really worry about regulating what they go see? And half the time, I watch it with them.
Oh man, that's tough.
Where did you? So I think it comes down to everybody's a little different. What? Let me
Yeah.
ask you. What would you say? I mean, let's not go like X-rated or anything, but what would
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say? 'Cause
yeah,
that's an
yeah.
obvious one. But what
Right,
would you
right.
say is like, I can't believe somebody they let their 10-year-old watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a context. I we you Joe, you've circled that drain many times with, you know, as a kid, did I go, saw
Mhm.
something scary? I feel like, I grew up. My dad was always like kind of like Joe. He talks about his dad, liking the tour de forces, the
Mhm.
scary movies, that kind of thing. And I used to sit up and watch those with him as I was like, I don't know, early teens. You know, my dad didn't get too worked up about that. Um, I I think you have to really kind of judge on your kids. You don't want to like scar them. At the same time, I think you can get too adult themed, kinda, but
So
you can't. I don't want to say that my wife is much more than I am. I'm just like, hey, let's watch, an action adventure. She's like, oh, they're too young for that. I'm like, really? You know, Mission Impossible. You know,
I know, right? Okay, my dad gave me a edited version. We watched The Predator when I was like 10 or 12,
oh
I
yeah,
think. And I just remember all the fun parts because that's what he showed me. It was letters that I was like, oh, I see what you cut out. Okay. It wasn't a lot, but it was some over the top stuff that my mom wouldn't like or whatever. But here's the thing. All right. I'm not the butt faces of my kids. Screw you. But also, um, everybody chooses their hypocrisy.
oh
And in my household, it was very much couldn't watch rated R movies, didn't want anything too violent, so on and so
right,
forth. Yada yada. However, I could watch Tom and Jerry, which is uber violent
oh yeah,
and very speciesist, and it's crazy. But I read as part of homeschooling in a Christian home, Flowers for Algernon. Talk about scarring. Scars make you tougher, by the way. But also
it's
that
kind of
scarred me
true.
way more than watching Predator. I can
Yeah,
tell you. And so Zoe, my youngest, is 13, and from a very young age, she's loved violence. Like somebody tripped over a ball or something in the yard, and she just as a one of her early
yeah,
laughs is just losing it watching them. That so I slowly introduced her to the safer parts of Jackass, the TV show, and then the movie. But there's parts that even I'm like, I don't
oh
want to see.
yeah,
But it came to an age like when she was 10 or whatever when the last one came out before this newest one, she really wanted to see it. I was like, okay, here's the deal. I know you want to see it. I know you will find a way to see it. But I'm going to tell you, there's stuff in it you absolutely don't want to see. And the principle of life is what
yeah,
has been seen cannot be unseen. But it has taught her the skills of not throwing away what the parts that she likes of something because of the parts she doesn't like. And I don't understand it. I don't think it's funny. I don't get why they do it. But there's a whole lot of male nudity and dumbassery in that movie. And my wife took her to see it because I wasn't available, and she said, she would just sit down and say, "Oh, I'm so tired of seeing this stuff." Exactly. We just made it a non-thing for you. You
right.
don't want to see. You know to look away instantly because it's like, But it is. As I'm not going to watch something with them that is 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, I'm not doing that
Yeah,
crap. I wouldn't even want to say I think it's a dumb movie, but um, there's I mean Demon Slayer. She's been watching Demon Slayer with me for years now. And there's people who are like, oh my God, there's demons, there's craziness. Yeah. But I also tell my kids, it's all fake. It's
Yeah.
TV. It's an imagination, and you can enjoy the world that they're in. And plus, here's why I don't like horror films for two reasons: they don't follow their own rules, and the good guys don't win. There are no good guys.
No.
It's like, well,
Yeah,
I
everyone's a
like
loser.
hope. Yeah, I like getting in there and going, do I at least have a chance? And I watch
Yeah.
out the horror films like I'd have taken Chucky out in a heartbeat. What are you talking about? A little 3 foot doll? Nah,
Oh, yeah.
nah, dog. It's got a lighter and a butane or something.
And
Come on.
they're not. Yeah, and it's I talking about the suspense of belief. Chucky, really. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
yeah. So
it's
when
funny. It's
one of my
it's darkly hilarious.
my daughter, her one of her friends, this is like in grade school. This is like first, second, third grade, something like that. And third, maybe it's third. It was pretty early. And we're talking, and she, her mother was talking with us, and she said, "Yeah, something about Deadpool." That her they're divorced, and so her father took her to see Deadpool, and she's like, third graders, you know,
Okay.
one, and that gets there's some pretty graphic stuff in there in the beginning, adultish, and
Yeah, sure.
yeah. And the mom's like wasn't happy about it, but dad kind of pulled it. Now I was like, when you get older, I don't care. That's a little early to kind of introduce, but in my opinion, but their parents going to do it. And again, like you said, it's everyone's going to kind of ingest that stuff differently. At the same time, I don't know if it's the best choice, but yeah,
Well, I mean,
everybody, you have to read your own room, if you will.
look. It's raising kids is just like being creative, writing songs, whatever you want
Oh,
to call it. You're gonna have a few times that you really hit out of the park and you
yeah,
really made a
absolutely.
masterpiece. You made the best choice. 80 to 90% of the time, it's going to be the best choice you could have. You tried something. You tried something.
You
Maybe it
try.
worked. Maybe it didn't.
My parents did
Um,
a lot of that. I mean, I probably watched way too many movies that I probably shouldn't have at a certain age, whatever. But, I mean,
yeah,
said, well, I turned out just fine. Well, not everyone turns out fine, right? But
yeah,
again, you should also take your, like you said, your daughter's going, oh,
yeah,
don't take them to a horror movie and them be sitting there, mortified, and then they
yeah,
wake up screaming in the middle of the night. I think it was a bad choice.
yeah. I've never forced my kids through anything.
Yeah.
Zoe being the youngest, all right, she is young. I don't know if it's why she. Anyway, she's never really liked scary stuff. Like, okay, it's
Mm.
fine. Now, if I feel like it's a problem, like I've told the story with Crosby, where she didn't like coming through the room when I'm playing House of the Dead
Oh,
video game on the Wii and I'm shooting them with the light gun. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to force you to kill these zombies so you understand that you win
yeah.
because this,
Desensitize.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
way too fearful. It's one thing to go, ooh, I don't like this gross. I
Yeah.
do that too. But to not can't be in the room for it. And
Yeah.
then she's like, oh. And then she got into the game and she pushed me aside. She started killing zombies, and that's her favorite thing.
Been there.
But I to a point, I hate the Disney channels because it's overly repetitive. It's all about adults are dumb
Yeah,
and the kids are
that's
screaming, and it's like that's what we got to tell our kids about. It's like, no, I've heard that same
yeah.
scream 4 times now. No, I'm not going to walk through the room and let you watch too much of. I mean, you can't help some of it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't. I could abandon them, but I'm saying, yeah, okay, there are some dumb adults out there. So I'm not going to make you not watch it. But after like 30 minutes, you got to do something else. To this
It's
day, my kids still talk about Word Girl and Fizzy's Lunch
yeah.
Lab and all the PBS stuff that we have them
Oh,
watch and Sesame Street and if
my daughter
that
loved
had a
Odd
positive effect.
Squad.
Oh, that
Oh
was one
my
of the
god.
best.
She
Yeah,
loved that.
Wild Squad was so good with the
That was
masks and
really good.
everything.
It was.
There was an Australian one about kids solving mysteries that was really good. Um, that
Mm,
came to PBS at some
it
point.
sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Grade
because
School Kids or
I
whatever.
mean, I got a lot of Bluey out there right now.
Yeah,
It's really good content.
and
Um,
it can and it's the positive messages behind it. It's the skills
yeah,
that are behind it. It's and now I mean my kids have devices, right? And when I look over their shoulder what they're watching, it's their they're always watching stuff older than their age, but it's their age stuff of that PBS stuff. It's somebody building something or creating something or doing something. The creators that I watch them watch regularly, we check them out. Like, okay, you're watching their comedy and their skits, and
Oh yeah.
I can see why it's not funny for me, but I can see why you find it funny, and I can see where you might be learning, absorbing some craft work, getting inspired. That's all I really look for. And at the end of the day, if I want my kid to watch The Furious, which was the kung fu, that's how I watch it. But I want them.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna, but it's that
Kung
nonstop
Fury.
kung fu act. Oh
Kung
yeah, kung fu.
Fury.
Yeah, if I,
Oh, I had my
you
kids
know,
watch that early
yeah,
on in their life. But
it's like
it
it
is
is what it
selfish though. For I
is.
think when parents like go to you go to and they're like dragging their kids into something. But to your point, when there's such good programming for kids anyway, let
Hmm.
them have that. And as they get older, and then they can process some of those
Yeah.
more adult themes. Because at some point they're going to, right?
Yes. Um, I don't think it was this movie, but this would have fell in that category. There was some movie that, as my can't remember which set of kids it was. As my kids were getting a little bit older, they're still young teens. They're like, I
Hmm.
really want to watch. I'm gonna throw this in because this would have fit. I really want to
Yeah.
watch Fight Club. I went.
Okay.
I thought about it for a second. And I went, no, you're not ready for it yet. They're
Right.
like 12, 13, 14. And
Oh
like
yeah.
they started
Yes.
going to do the what? It's like, how many times have I told you no in your life, especially about watching something? So trust me on this. When you're ready, I'll bring it to you because I
Right.
love that movie.
Yeah.
We
Because what
watch it.
happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club.
It does, but you have to understand
But you have to understand that.
subtext. You have to
And my point
understand
is, yeah.
interpretation. You got to understand a lot of
Hmm.
things about that movie, or it can mess you up if you're not careful.
Correct.
I don't need an angry, impressionable teenager wanting to start their own cult in the basement. Okay, that's for me
Yeah.
to do. But so yeah, at least the older two, when they got 18 to 19 years of age, the three of us sat down in my backyard like
Oh
last
yeah.
year, 2 years ago, and put it on and watched it.
They're
You
teenagers.
know,
At that point, it's like, okay,
yeah, they're young adults. They understand some of the world and those kind of things.
right.
And it did. It blew their minds like I hoped it would. I was like, that's
Um,
awesome. But when you're 12, I
you're not gonna get it.
no,
Not gonna
yeah,
understand it.
you're not going to understand it, and that
Yeah.
is there's some things you watch for learning, and there's some things you watch for entertainment.
Hmm.
And Fight Club is not in the entertainment book, in my
It's
opinion.
his own show.
So it really is.
It really
Uh,
is.
okay, here's another one similar. At what age? This is for Bob. At what
Oh,
age do you bring your kid to Dragon Con?
that's a great one because there's some people bring some pretty young kids there.
There really are. I know Phil's talking to his son about
Right.
coming,
And they're
which
like part of their costume, you know. They're like,
yeah. Oh yeah, like
yeah,
the babies and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They did some fun stuff with that, but there are some, during the daytime, and there's some definitely like the robotics area and stuff. There's some stuff that's pretty
Well, like
appropriate for
you
kids in
specifically,
general.
like Phil, he told his son. I don't know if he talks about his son's name on the air. I always hesitate with that.
Right.
I'll name my kids, but it's your kids. That's your business.
Yeah.
But he talks to his son, and he's like, his thing was because Phil comes to work. I mean, we're huge workers there as far as creatives, and
Hmm.
is that good?
Absolutely.
And he told us that you can't hang. You can't do it.
Exactly.
We're talking about being there from like 10, 11 a.m. till midnight one. And, especially with botch being on Sunday night. And he's like, and that I get that. Like I brought Oakland when he was 12, and he came for the one day with me, and that was enough for him,
Right.
right? Because my wife could come last year, the younger kids got to come because they could take breaks, they could go. But I was like, if you're with me,
No.
you have to be able to hang, and I want you to be able to experience it. But also, I don't just go watch panels. I mean, I'm
No.
always doing something at a con.
Yeah, you can't watch your kids, and you don't want a 12-year-old just wandering off. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
that's
and I don't
bad.
want you to have to sit because
And
I
sit
grew up
there.
having to sit in church
Oh
all the
yeah.
time because my dad was the only one who could watch me that day, and he had to go do something, so I had to go sit for
Yeah.
hours in these meetings that are boring as crap and behave.
I mean, my dad was a teacher, and I'd go in on weekends with him so he'd grade papers. I'm sitting in a room. Fortunately, he's a science teacher, so there was a lot of interesting stuff there, but that only goes so far until you're
Yeah,
just kind of bored out of
yeah,
I've never been a big take your kids to work person because I have to work. I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and just let them just be bored. It doesn't make any sense to me. And Dragon Con would be almost like that, right?
To a point, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
to a point. I mean, we we do it because we enjoy it. The work is fun.
But it does take a lot of energy, and the work
It
is
does.
yeah, it is engaging to us. But
Very
who's
engaging.
somebody who's not
Uh,
working is on their phone.
right.
That's fine.
But
But
and if you're like going here and there and talking to people, and you've got a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old, um, you can't have these conversations. You can't be, you know, getting to know someone. Oh, really? You're from where? And you're doing
yeah,
this. I love this, whatever. And they're just sitting there like, "Ah, can we go do something else? How is
yeah,
it enjoyable to you as a con goer,
right,
too?
yeah. I don't understand. I mean, sometimes it is what it is. I know some of the performers will bring their spouses and their
Right.
littler, smaller kids because they're what they're
But they have
filming
a
their
little bit of
films.
support there, too.
Yeah. And so they'll do their panels and they'll do some of
Hmm.
the con, but they'll spend time with their family. And I get that. That's a
Right. That
compromise,
makes sense.
you know.
That's right.
With Oakland, I knew I was tied to the track a lot. So, because that was like the second or third year. Actually, that might have been the year as a shadow director. It was the year as a shadow director because we just brought Botch. And I'd gotten to know them over the year and I'd instantly clicked with Phil and Dennis. And Travis was there and there were some
Yeah.
other people. I was like, okay, these are your uncles. You can never be alone in this con. But if you're with some of them, and I had the whole
Hmm.
Drive Size Team Up Network, so there's about 8 to 10 people. So as long as you're with somebody, you're fine. And we had a little chat group, so somebody was like, "Hey, I got him with me now," da, da, da. And so he got to experience a bunch of different areas of the con that I would never get to
That's
in a
great.
safe manner. And then, of course, then he opened up for bots that night and introduced them, and that was the highlight of his life at 12 was
That's
doing that.
great. Good
But
for him.
it was cool. But I wouldn't just like I've told my kids for years. I'm sorry, I can't bring you with me because I don't leave the con now. I lived there
Yeah.
for 5 to 6 days, literally.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you can't hang. There's just I
It
have
would
nobody to make
be
sure you're fed and watered and
It'd be
slept.
miserable for a kid
Yeah,
without that. I mean, it'd be one thing, oh, your wife comes, you got the kids with you. Oh, hey, hi,
yeah,
and then you're back to it, right?
yeah.
I don't see it, but boy, we really went off the original question,
Yeah.
but
So I
it's
think the
absolutely
answer is
apropos.
I'm always right. All you or else are bad parents.
I,
That's the
you
answer.
know, it's hard to judge. Yeah, I hate judging people's,
Yeah.
how they're parenting because every kid's different, every parent's different, every experience is different.
We definitely I need to find some what I think are obvious bad parent stories and bring them to the
Oh, there's
table.
plenty of those out there.
Like, what would we do differently?
Oh, I
Um,
know.
as long as you're trying, you're doing well. But as far as like the seeing the media and this and other, I firmly believe in the Gen X motto: "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." But I also believe in the millennial life of let's actually pay attention to the people around us and help them help themselves and find saturation points and make
Absolutely.
sure you give them some space.
Yeah.
And then everybody else, I really don't care about. My kid, all my kids have watched it. I've never watched it. It's not my thing. I was like, you know what? Your older sibling, because it came out when the older siblings were older and could watch it. It's
Oh, you're
like,
talking about the second one, the newer one?
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, they're older. So if you guys want to watch it with them so they look out after you because they
Yeah.
know, and
This is
that worked
coming up.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I haven't watched it since the original, and even then it was like, not my thing.
yeah, it's not my thing either.